and I had the fortune of several sittings with him. When I was a young man, my ages were yet to be smoothened, so I could fire hard-hitting questions, and Swamiji with his disarming smile and sublime laughter, he would respond. And while doing so, many times my children who were toddler, 5 years, 6 years, they would be sitting in his lap and pulling his beard. He used to love children. In fact, quite a lot of the insight and the meaning that I was able to decipher for myself, I attribute it to the blessings of Param Pujya Gurudeva. In my job, in the task which I have been performing, which has been given to me from time to time, doing with total dedication and mindful of who says what. And this Bhagavad Gita makes you understand, it gives you a cosmic perspective too. It has something for everyone. It is a deep, huge ocean. It depends on how deep you can dive. Pick up the pearls that you can. I'm not sure whether anyone has gone to the bottom of it, but it's huge ocean, and it caters to everyone. And I, for one, believe that it's such an ocean when anyone who takes a dive will not get drowned for sure, will come out of it carrying something. Setbacks, it taught me a lesson to accept it. Success, don't get carried away. Dukhesu anidvignamana sukhesu vigataspiya. That sense that you acquire, you feel that you are a nimit, you are a medium for something larger. You surrender yourself and do with a feeling that you are carrying out a responsibility given to you by the divine. Somebody abuses, accuses, doesn't matter. It is understandable. They are also in Purush Prakriti Yoga, it explains how people have that is the Prakriti. Bhuta Gramam Imam Krishnam Avasham Prakriti Vashat. When he talks about Prakriti, Mahabhutani Ahankaro Buddhiya Vyaktamevacha Indriyani Dasaikam Cha Panchachandriya Gochara Iksha Dvaisham Sukham Dukkham Sangha Taschetana Dhati Edada Shetram Samashena Sadhikaram Upayritam. This is, they react that way. I have no ill will, I have no feeling, it doesn't even affect me. I know there are not many people who abuse me left and right. Doesn't matter. It is that I have a sympathy for them. I have no problem. Now this strength, this Bhagavad Gita it gives you. And when I am discharging the responsibility, a duty, in the interest of Ma Bharati, I think I have all the more clarity. One sloka which inspired me all through, it does even today. You know, when Arjun, when he got confused and he put this Gandiva, he would not fight. At the time, Sri Krishna tells him, क्लैब्यमास्मगमा पार्थ नैतत्वोपपद्यते Shudram hridaya daurbalyam tektavo tishta paramtapa. Renounce this weakness of heart. Shudram hridaya daurbalyam tektavo tishta paramtapa. You have to fight. Hato va prapyasi swargam jitva va bhojyase mahim. Tasmat Kaunteya. He says about Juddhaya Kritanishya. Juddhaya Kritanishya. Fight it. You die, you go to the heaven. You win, the world is yours. The strength this book gives to people, those who seek the strength, is unimaginable. And even I studied physics. I did my master's in physics as a student. There are many concepts which, if many people find it difficult, but those who have studied Bhagavad Gita, for them it becomes easier. There are two domains. One is about universe, the motion of the universe, the celestial bodies, the move, how huge and large. The general theory of relativity, Albert Einstein himself was inspired by Bhagavad Gita. I was reading a commentary on it because he gave a commentary written by Eddington, his contemporary of Albert Einstein, and supposed to be the known authority on interpreting the general theory of relativity, which deals with the motion of this universe and universal objects in the universe. Eddington writes in the preface that anyone who enters the general theory of relativity, one gets a sense that you are in a lunatic asylum. It's so confusing, so confusing. For him it might have been, because they try to understand things from bhautik buddhi. Here is the fundamental difference between European system of knowledge and Bharatiya Jnana Paddhati. In European system of knowledge, bhautik buddhi is the supreme. Intellect is sovereign. Sovereignty of intellect. And if nothing that is comprehensible to intellect, no, it is not acceptable. In Bharatiya Jnana Paddhati, intellect is important, no doubt. But we realize its limitation. Because this buddhi, this bhautik buddhi that our intellect has, it is based on our five sense organs: sound, sight, smell, touch. The five corresponding to this, there are objects and activities that we perceive, and it is a permutation and a combination of this that gives you the knowledge. All these are finite, and it cannot be complete. So in Bharatiya Jnana Paddhati, in Indian system of knowledge, bhautik buddhi has to be supplemented by adhyatmik buddhi, para buddhi, which cannot be understood by intellect. One has to take a leap into that. And one who has read Bhagavad Gita and gets the cosmic perspective, what general theory of relativity says becomes far easier to comprehend. One doesn't feel as what Eddington says, that you are in a lunatic asylum. Similarly, when it comes to the atoms, subatomic particles, quantum physics, nuclear physics. When you see this, every atom is a microcosm. It represents the larger universe at a smaller, much tinier scale. When you see Lord Krishna Vishwarupa, the whole universe in his mouth. Understanding the macro through the micro, because micro is a reflection, or macro is a reflection of the micro. Now this meta concept, all of us scientists across the world, philosophers across the world have been searching for an idea, what they call it meta idea. Meta idea is an idea which is the mother idea of all the ideas, through which all rest of the ideas they can be explained, they are derived. This meta idea is here. One has to just open one's eyes and heart and delve deep into it. In discharging the duties, I have served for quite many years in areas which we don't hear Bhagavad Gita there. We also use the gunshots and explosions. Jammu and Kashmir, for several years in the decade of 90s in the northeast. And many a times when you find that the enemies of Mahabharati, often from outside, when you are dealing with them, this book gives you the clarity. First and foremost, it is a dharma yuddha. It has to be fought, and fought with firm determination, unwavering commitment, and then no other consideration. There are many times when there are many lives involved. The question comes, should I or should I not? And then you recall, I recall Bhagavad Gita, Brahmanadhyay, Karmani, Sangam Tektava Karoti Yaha, Lipyate Sapapena, Padma Patra Vibambasa. If I am doing things in the Mahabharati cause, forget about everything. No, there is no problem. Do it. And when there is a Shatru, there is a Ripu, there has to be a total annihilation. Ripu Shesham, Rina Shesham, Agni Shesham, Tataivacha, Asmat, Tasmat Shesham, Punar Vardhayet, Tasmat Shesham Nakarayet. Ripu, Agni and Rina, nothing to leave remnant. It has to be eliminated. Of course, this is Chanakya Niti. It's not, it's come. No. Now, if I go to the, as I said, cosmic perspective, when you see that yourself in everyone's self, this experience, this is not an intellectual, logical derivative. It has to be experienced. And only then, Sahaj Gyan, only then, you appreciate the beauty of it. In the time of the Vedas, when our rishis discovered the fundamental truth of a creator, making the creation and then permeating the entire every element of the creation. Every element of the creation is a manifestation of the creator, Ishvara. It is from this bhav that we say, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya. But this bhav, how beautifully Bhagavan Krishna, Lord Krishna has described in Bhagavad Gita when he talks about Jnana, Sattvic Jnana, Rajasic Jnana, Tamasic Jnana. In the Sattvic Jnana he says, Sarva Bhutesu Enaikyam Bhavam Abhyavam Ikshate Avibhaktam Vibhakteshu Tad Jnanam Vidis Satvikam. Avivaktam Vivakteshu. You go, you take deep dive as much as you can, and you keep picking the pearls. And sometimes the pearl that you have picked up, that same pearl it keeps acquiring new salience, its shine. Because then you get, every time you read, you get a new perspective. This is, just an amazing gift. After all, it is a divine gift. Today, coming before, after even this book has inspired our people from time to time. I have talked about my individual experience. But whenever the country has been passing through a serious crisis, this book has been the source of inspiration and guidance. At the time, during the colonial period, our biggest problem was our Purusharth of our people was at a very low ebb. People were running away from life. In North, the Hindi, they used to say, there was a saying, Nari bhai, Nari mui bhai sampati nasi, mund mudaye bhai sannyasi. Wife is dead, you have lost property, shave your head and become a sannyasi. That is how it used to be. People used to leave the world, live their life and go. Life had lost meaning. It was at that time that Lokmanya Tilak, while in prison, in Burmese prison at Mandalay, he looked up to Bhagavad Gita and he found the answer. He wrote Gita Rahasya. Gita Rahasya again with the same spirit to fight. Klaibyam asmagama partha aintatu. We have to fight that. And that became the driving force. It gave the strength. Swami Vivekananda, having traveled the whole country and having seen the condition in which the country was, for the last over 1,000 years, anyone coming from outside could just trample us. This collective, comprehensive decline in our Purusharth, he realized that this is the cause of our problem. This Purusharth has to be awakened. And with that, he spread the message. He exhorted the people. Well, when Bhagavan Ramakrishna Paramhans had touched him, and with that magical touch, Narendra becomes Swami Vivekananda. He could have just become one of the Swamis. But the touch was for a purpose, a divine purpose. And Swami Vivekananda carried it on. And he gave that message of Purusharth. He exhorted people not to live life, live in life, live life full, live life with dignity. He had a dream of Bharat, what kind of Bharat should be. Because in the past there were times when Bharat was like that. Something happened in between and it suffered through a long period of eclipse. So his dream of Bharat of his dream was, which he said was, I want my Bharat whose muscles are made of iron, whose sinews are of steel, but whose brain is Vedantic. A compassionate Bharat, a strong Bharat, a strong yet compassionate. That is the basic identity of Bharat. And this identity of Bharat has been shaped by people, the rishis, sages, and poets of Bharat. People who try to understand this Bharat from the Western notion of a state, they have a difficulty. Because in the Western notion of a state, Western states have been created by force. There was a strong man. By force, he conquered a territory, consolidated the territory, and that became a country, a state. That is how entire Europe was created, with fight, bloodshed. Who conquers what, how much? This is how America was created. Some people from Britain went over there, killed the natives, captured, settled. America immersed. Canada immersed. Australia immersed. Now, this notion is not applicable to Bharat. There was no Bahubali, there was no strong man who created Bharat. Bharat was created by our rishis, our sages, our poets. And this you see in our subconscious day-to-day life, right from Kanyakumari to Kashmir to Kamrup, whichever part of the country you do, you see Bharat. People may not, even those who talk otherwise, for some reason, even in their houses, even their conduct, you will find a very subterranean Bharat is present. It lives in our heart. The divisive forces, all this sectarianism in terms of race, in terms of reason, in terms of language, in terms of ethnicity. The foreigners have tried to divide us, fragment us into pieces. This cannot be allowed to succeed anymore. I have narrated this anecdote with others, and I am tempted to repeat it today. More than 30 years back, I went to Northeast, in an area up in the hills of Arunachal Pradesh, close to Tibet border. There is a tribe, Ishu Midmi tribe. British called them tribe. We started calling them tribe. They don't call themselves tribe. They have a name, Idu Mishmi. There when I found them, a sporting tuft, Chutia, I was curious, how could these people, beyond in the mountains and the hills, considered to be pretty backward area people away from civilization, how could they? When I asked the question, they told me a folk tale. They told me that Rukmini was their daughter. And incidentally, there is a village called Bhismak Nagar, which is supposed to be the place, the seat of Rukmini's father, Bhismak. She wanted to marry Sri Krishna, but her brother Rukmi wanted to marry her off to somebody else. She informed Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna came, fought Rukmi, and he was going to kill him. At that point of time, a loving sister sought the Prananan, don't kill my brother. So Sri Krishna, with his Sudarshan Chakra, shaved his head, left the tuft. And that is the tradition they are carrying even today. How did this reach? How did I ask a question to our experts, our scholars, all those people who have learned a lot of anthropology, they will try to say they are different, they are different, they are different. My simple question is, how did this go to this remote place? Among those people, this story, which has become a tradition, living tradition for every male Idu Mismi member. Certainly this could not have gone in last a few hundred years, because if last a few hundred years they were not allowed, the free movement was completely disrupted by the British. It must have reached long back. You know, I went to a young Naga friend. He's again a theologian. Of course, he is a Christian. He teaches in Texas. Again, I'm talking about these stories of early 90s when I was trying to I was trying to understand the region and the people. One day he invited me to his house for lunch. His mother served, as usually it happens in our houses, the lady of the house served the food. His father was sitting, I and he, the young man. All three sitting on the floor, the food was served. His father picked up some morsels of rice and he uttered something and he put some rice on the side of the plate on the floor. It looked familiar, so I asked him, what is this? His English educated son said, they are superstitious. After lunch, I again met this old gentleman and asked him, what is this? What did you do? And you know what he said? He said, this food that I ate, we all ate, it has been a gift from our Mother Earth, our eye. It is a thing thanks to her. Before I eat, I put the bowl. How did this sanskar go to them? Now you see Bharat everywhere. There is only a thin layer of ignorance which is distracting, which is creating illusions of differences. Today, when our country is moving forward with determination, with self-confidence, and with a sense of destiny and time, that in the next 25 years we must attain our destiny, the leader of the world, the Vishwa Guru. This Bhagavad Gita becomes so important, because this country, Bharat, cannot be what it must be, what its destiny, unless every Bharatiya joins this campaign. Prime Minister Modi says all the time, Jan Bhagidari, involvement of the people. Until he came, government was the Mai-Baap, government was the guardian, father, mother, everything will be done by the government. No, we have a trust in our people. Nearing 1.4 billion people, they will make Bharat. You create a condition, have a trust and confidence in them, and that is what they are doing. And with this confidence, when our country is marching ahead, the world outlook to our country also has changed. Until a few years back, India was bracketed as a third world country. Nobody talks of third world country today. People look at this country, look at Bharat with an expectation to provide leadership. And when we have this responsibility, and rightly so, because Bharat alone can provide the leadership for a peaceful world. And for that, material prosperity alone is not enough. We may be economically we are the fastest growing economy in the world. And one day we will become the largest economy of the world also. In science and technology, we are progressing. Our people, our scientists, our young men and women are doing incredible things. We are moving forward. In all these areas, we will grow. But that's not enough, because this growth will only make us a poor imitation of the West. There has to be a spiritual resurgence. Our Bharat identity of Bharat is linked with its spirituality. A spirituality that looks at Vasudhaiva as the world as a family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And now the world with this kind of increasing sense of trust in India, trust in Bharat. Now, a few days back, we have taken over the chairmanship of G20. You know, all the countries in the world, all the countries, those who matter in the world, they are member of G20. It accounts for over 85% of the world GDP. Now when Bharat has when the world has entrusted this responsibility with to take the leadership with that trust, we are confident we will fulfill the trust. And for this, to Bharat to rise, I don't think there is any other inspiration more powerful, more apt, more appropriate than Bhagavad Gita. I wish this, our those who have organized Sanskrit Bharati Chinmaya Mission, it has to be a mass movement. It cannot be just left to these two organizations. It has to be mass movement. It has to be participation of other entities, individuals, all of us. It is our duty. It is our duty to Ma Bharati to bring the glory of Bhagavad Gita for the sake of Bharat, which is for the sake of the world. We need that. And I'm sure we will do that. We are capable of that. Today, Bharat is awake, is no longer asleep or half asleep. We are awake. We will achieve it. I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity, coming to you, listening to and talking to you. I once again extend my warmest greetings on this auspicious day to all of you and to all our countrymen and women and all the people of Indian origin, Bharatiya mool, anywhere in the world. Thank you. Thank you. Jai Bharat.
Dhanyawad Mahodaya for that inspirational speech and how Dhanyawad Mahodaya for that inspirational speech and how we can use Bhagavad Gita in our day-to-day life and go about making a new Bharat. Srimati Amitha Prithvi, State General Secretary, Sanskrit Bharati, Uttara Tamil Nadu, will now give the vote of thanks.
नमस्सभाये संस्कृत भारती पक्षतः अस्माकं गीता